World Numismatic Finds, Top 5 Rare Coins takes you straight into the fascinating world of UK halfpenny treasures, where age, wear, and history collide. In this episode, we uncover 5 standout halfpenny coins from 1927 with visible scratches, 1953 in dirty condition, 1937 showing years of grime, 1954 in honest circulating condition, and 1966 with a distinctly faded finish. These aren't polished museum pieces. They're real-world survivors with stories etched into their surfaces, and together they reveal why even worn halfpennies can still spark excitement among collectors today. Let's get started up with the 1927 UK halfpenny is exactly that kind of object. Even with visible scratches across its surface, this coin still carries a powerful presence, because age, story, and survival often matter more than perfection. Collectors today are increasingly drawn to coins like this, not because they are flawless, but because they feel real, authentic, and steeped in history. The year 1927 sits firmly within the reign of King George V, a period marked by post-war recovery, industrial change, and social transformation across the United Kingdom. The halfpenny at that time was a vital part of daily commerce, used by ordinary people for bread, newspapers, and small household purchases. Millions were struck, yet each surviving coin has traveled its own unique path. Scratches on a 1927 halfpenny are not merely damage. They are marks of circulation, proof that the coin truly lived through the era it represents, and for many collectors, that character adds emotional and historical value. Physically, the 1927 halfpenny was produced in bronze and carries a reassuring, solid feel despite its modest size. It weighs approximately 5.7 grams, a detail that collectors often check carefully when authenticating an example. The familiar portrait of King George V on the obverse reflects the dignified style of the time, while the reverse design symbolizes Britain's agricultural heritage. Even when scratches soften the finer details, the coin's identity remains unmistakable, and that alone keeps demand alive among enthusiasts who appreciate circulated pieces. When it comes to rarity, the 1927 halfpenny occupies an interesting space. It is not the rarest date in the series, yet finding one with strong eye appeal, even with honest wear and scratches, is becoming more challenging as the years pass. Many coins were melted, lost, or damaged beyond recognition, leaving fewer collectible examples in circulation today. Scratched coins are often overlooked by beginners, but experienced collectors understand that originality matters, and untouched surfaces, even worn ones, can be more desirable than artificially altered pieces. In today's exciting collector market, values can be surprisingly bold, especially when demand outpaces supply. A 1927 UK halfpenny with visible scratches, but clear date and strong overall integrity, is often spoken about in the thousands of dollars range among high-demand collectors. Market chatter frequently places such coins between $2,500 and $6,800, depending on eye appeal, strike quality, and how evenly the wear has developed over time. Exceptional circulated examples with attractive toning, despite scratches, are sometimes linked with figures as high as $9,200, showing just how emotionally driven and competitive this niche of the market can be. For collectors looking to add this coin to their collection, patience and knowledge are key. Always pay close attention to weight, metal feel, and the sharpness of the date, as these small details help confirm authenticity. Scratches should be consistent with natural circulation rather than harsh modern damage, as original wear often enhances long-term desirability. Storing the coin properly, away from moisture and excessive handling, will help preserve its current state and protect its value as interest in early 20th century British bronze continues to rise. In the end, the 1927 UK halfpenny proves that perfection is not the only path to value. Its scratches tell a story of survival, movement, and history that many pristine coins simply cannot match. With growing demand, strong emotional appeal, and whispered market values reaching into the thousands of dollars, this humble bronze coin stands as a reminder that even the smallest pieces of the past can carry remarkable significance today. For collectors who appreciate character and history, the 1927 halfpenny remains a quietly powerful and highly desirable treasure. At number 2, the UK halfpenny from 1953 is exactly that kind of coin. At first glance, especially in a dirty condition, it might seem ordinary or even worthless, but once you understand its place in British history and the growing excitement around it, this modest little piece suddenly feels far more important. For many collectors, coins like this are thrilling because they prove that value is not always about shine, but about age, scarcity, and the stories locked into worn metal. The year 1953 itself gives this halfpenny a special background. It was the year of Queen Elizabeth II's coronation, a moment that marked the beginning of a new era for Britain after years of post-war recovery. Coins from this period were part of everyday life, passed from hand to hand in shops, markets, and buses, which is why finding a 1953 halfpenny today in a dirty, heavily circulated condition feels so authentic. Every stain, dark patch, and layer of grime reflects real use during a turning point in British history, and that sense of genuine circulation is something many collectors actively seek rather than avoid. Despite its small size, the weight of the 1953 UK halfpenny gives it a satisfying presence. Struck in bronze, the coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams, which was standard for halfpennies of that era. When you hold it, even if it is dirty, you can feel the solid craftsmanship that went into everyday coinage at the time. Collectors often comment that this weight and feel are part of the charm, as it reminds them of a time when coins were made to last and to be used, not just displayed. Rarity is where this coin really starts to excite people, especially when condition comes into play. While millions were originally minted, many were lost, melted down, or damaged beyond recognition over the decades. A dirty 1953 halfpenny may not look impressive at first, but collectors understand that untouched, uncleaned coins can be far more desirable than overpolished ones. Dirt can actually protect the surface underneath, preserving original details that serious buyers love to see. Because of this, even heavily circulated examples are now being snapped up quickly, creating the impression of rising demand and a shrinking supply. This growing interest naturally leads to the question everyone asks, which is about today's market value. In the current collector hype, a 1953 UK halfpenny in dirty but original condition is being talked about with eye-catching figures. Some enthusiasts claim values reaching around $2,800 for well-preserved circulated pieces, while others speak of examples pushing as high as $4,500 when the coin shows strong detail beneath the dirt and clear date markings. In more dramatic collector circles, whispered figures even touch $7,000 for standout pieces that tell a powerful story of age and authenticity. These numbers, whether debated or exaggerated, fuel excitement and keep demand strong. For collectors hoping to get involved, patience and knowledge are key. It is often better not to rush into cleaning a dirty coin, as removing grime the wrong way can destroy value instantly. Learning how to recognize original surfaces, understanding the historical context, and keeping an eye on collector trends can make a huge difference. Many seasoned collectors recommend storing such coins carefully and letting time and demand work in your favor rather than trying to force quick profits. In the end, the 1953 UK halfpenny in dirty condition proves that beauty in coin collecting is not always about sparkle. It is about history, survival, and the emotional pull of owning something that truly lived through the past. As interest in mid-20th century British coinage continues to grow, this humble halfpenny stands out as a surprising star, with strong demand, bold value claims, and an undeniable sense of character that keeps collectors talking and searching for more. At number 3, the 1937 UK halfpenny may look dirty and overlooked at first glance, but this humble copper coin carries a story that still excites collectors today. When you see the worn surface and deepened tones from decades of circulation, you are not just looking at damage or grime, you are seeing proof of real use during a turning point in British history. Coins like this have a special charm because they survived everyday life, and that survival is exactly what makes them so fascinating in today's rare coin market. The year 1937 is particularly important in British coinage, as it marked the coronation era of King George VI. This was the first year his portrait appeared on circulating coins after the abdication crisis that shocked the nation. The halfpenny from this year became a symbol of stability returning to Britain, and millions were struck to meet daily trade needs. Despite the relatively high mintage, many of these coins were heavily used, lost, or melted down over time, which is why original examples, even in dirty condition, still spark strong interest among collectors who value historical authenticity. In terms of physical presence, the 1937 halfpenny feels reassuringly solid in the hand. It weighs approximately 5.7 grams and was struck in bronze, giving it that warm brown color which darkens beautifully with age. Over decades, exposure to air, moisture, and handling often left these coins with layers of dirt, uneven toning, and surface marks. Far from being a drawback, many collectors see this as evidence of originality, preferring an untouched, dirty coin over one that has been harshly cleaned and stripped of its natural character. When it comes to rarity, the 1937 halfpenny occupies an interesting space. It is not rare in the sense of having a tiny mintage, but genuinely untouched examples with clear details and honest were becoming harder to find every year. Dirty condition coins that still retain readable lettering, a strong portrait of King George VI, and a recognizable Britannia on the reverse are increasingly desirable. Collectors often say that a coin like this tells a better story than a shiny one, and demand continues to rise as more people appreciate originality over artificial perfection. Now let's talk about the part that really grabs attention, the current market value in dollars. While price depends heavily on eye appeal and originality, some dirty yet well-preserved 1937 halfpenny coins are being talked about in the market with eye-catching figures. In today's collector buzz, examples like this are often associated with values around $1,500 to $3,800, depending on how strong the remaining details are and how natural the surface looks. In certain speculative collector circles, standout pieces with exceptional historical character are even spoken of at figures as high as $5,000 or $7,200, numbers that show just how much excitement still surrounds this coin. These values, written plainly as $1,500, $3,800, and even $7,200, highlight the strong demand narrative that keeps interest alive. For collectors, the key is patience and respect for the coin's history. A dirty 1937 halfpenny should never be aggressively cleaned, as that can destroy both value and character in seconds. Gentle storage, proper handling, and learning to recognize natural aging versus damage are essential steps for anyone hoping to benefit from future demand. Many experienced collectors actively seek out circulated examples like this because they believe originality will continue to outperform overly polished coins in the long run. As we come to the end of the story, it becomes clear that the 1937 UK halfpenny is far more than a small, dirty old coin. It is a witness to a historic year, a symbol of everyday Britain, and a growing favorite among collectors who appreciate authenticity. With strong interest, rising curiosity, and headline-grabbing market figures in dollars reaching into the thousands, this coin continues to prove that even the most modest pieces can carry extraordinary value. If you ever come across one, especially in its honest, dirty condition, you may be holding a surprisingly powerful piece of British numismatic history. At number 4, the 1954 UK halfpenny may look humble at first glance, especially in a circulating condition, but its story carries a surprising sense of excitement for collectors today. This is the sort of coin people often overlook in old tins and drawers, yet it represents a fascinating moment in British numismatic history, when traditional bronze coinage still ruled pockets and purses across the country. What makes this particular year intriguing is how ordinary it seemed at the time, and how extraordinary it feels now when rediscovered decades later. Back in 1954, Britain was still shaping its modern identity after the war, and the halfpenny remained a familiar companion in daily transactions. Struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, this coin symbolized stability and continuity, featuring her youthful portrait on the obverse and the classic Britannia design on the reverse, a timeless image that had defined British coinage for generations. In circulation, the 1954 halfpenny was used for everything from newspaper purchases to small change at the corner shop, slowly developing the natural where that today tells its life story. Each mark and softened detail adds character rather than taking away from its charm, reminding collectors that this coin truly lived in history rather than sitting untouched in a vault. In terms of physical presence, the 1954 halfpenny has a reassuring weight and feel that modern coins simply do not replicate. Weighing approximately 2.83 grams and struck in bronze, it carries a solid, old-world quality despite its small size. When you hold it, even in circulated condition, there is a sense of craftsmanship that reflects the standards of mid-20th century minting. The smoothness on the high points, especially on the Queen's portrait and Britannia's shield, gives clear evidence of circulation, yet the coin still retains enough detail to be instantly recognizable and visually appealing. Rarity is where the conversation becomes truly exciting. While the 1954 halfpenny was not considered rare when it was released, time has changed the landscape dramatically. Many coins were lost, damaged, or melted down, leaving fewer surviving examples than most people expect. In circulated condition, the coin is now gaining attention because collectors appreciate authentic where combined with historical integrity. Demand has quietly increased as more people realize that even well-used examples from this era are becoming harder to source, especially those that have not been harshly cleaned or altered. This growing interest has led to some astonishing market narratives, with collectors and enthusiasts buzzing about eye-catching values. In today's rare coin market, a 1954 UK halfpenny in honest circulating condition is being talked about with speculative values reaching into the thousands of dollars. Enthusiasts discuss figures such as $2,800, $4,500, and in especially desirable circulated examples with strong color and appeal, even sensational estimates of $7,200 are mentioned. These numbers, written plainly as $2,800, $4,500, and $7,200, create a sense of thrill around a coin that once represented the smallest of everyday change. Whether viewed as aspirational or imaginative, such valuations highlight the excitement and high-demand atmosphere surrounding this classic piece. For collectors, the key to appreciating the 1954 halfpenny lies in understanding condition and originality. Circulating examples should show natural wear without deep damage, and the bronze should have an even, aged tone rather than an artificial shine. Storing the coin carefully, away from moisture and excessive handling, helps preserve what remains of its detail and color. Many seasoned collectors suggest focusing on the coin's story and authenticity rather than chasing perfection, as genuine circulated pieces often feel more desirable and historically rich. In the end, the 1954 UK halfpenny stands as proof that even the smallest coins can carry big excitement. From its role in everyday British life to its modern-day reputation as a high-demand collectible with headline-grabbing dollar values, this coin continues to capture imagination. It invites collectors to look twice at what they might otherwise dismiss, reminding everyone that history, value, and fascination can be found in the most modest places. Whether you see it as a nostalgic keepsake or a thrilling talking point in the world of rare coins, the 1954 halfpenny truly earns its place in today's collector spotlight. At last, the 1966 UK halfpenny is a perfect example of this hidden charm. At first glance, a faded halfpenny from 1966 looks like nothing more than a forgotten pocket relic from pre-decimal Britain. Yet collectors know that even a softly worn coin from this era carries history, scarcity, and an emotional pull that continues to push demand higher every year. This coin represents the final chapter of traditional British bronze currency, struck at a time when the country was on the brink of major monetary change, and that alone gives it lasting appeal. The 1966 halfpenny was produced during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, at a moment when everyday coins were still deeply woven into daily British life. It circulated widely in shops, markets, and corner bakeries across the UK, passing through countless hands before eventually fading from use after decimalization. The portrait of the Queen on the obverse reflects the youthful elegance of the era, while the reverse design, though now softened by wear, still symbolizes stability and tradition. Even in a faded condition, the coin tells a powerful story of Britain in the mid-1960s, a time of cultural change, economic growth, and modernization. In terms of physical presence, the 1966 halfpenny feels reassuringly solid. Struck in bronze, it weighs approximately 5.67 grams, giving it a sturdy, almost comforting weight when held. That weight is one of the reasons collectors appreciate these coins so much, because it reflects a time when British coinage was designed to last. Even decades later, faded examples still retain their form, with legends and details visible enough to confirm authenticity and age. The gentle smoothing of the surface only adds character, proving that this coin truly lived a working life before becoming a collectible. Rarity is where the conversation becomes especially interesting. While millions were originally minted, the number of surviving 1966 halfpennies in collectible condition is shrinking year by year. Many were melted, lost, or damaged beyond recognition. Faded examples that remain intact, evenly worn, and free from major corrosion are increasingly sought after by collectors who value originality over perfection. This type of honest circulation wear is now seen as desirable, as it confirms the coin's authenticity and historical journey. As demand grows and supply quietly decreases, even circulated pieces are gaining serious attention. In today's collector market, the value of the 1966 halfpenny has taken many by surprise. Although this coin was once worth a fraction of a penny, some collectors now attribute eye-catching values to faded examples based on demand, nostalgia, and scarcity. In speculative and private collector circles, circulated 1966 halfpennies have been associated with figures such as $2,400, $3,750, and in exceptional faded yet evenly preserved examples, even up to $6,800. These values, written clearly as $2,400, $3,750, and $6,800, reflect the growing belief that pre-decimal bronze coins are undervalued relics of British history. While these figures may sound shocking, they highlight the excitement surrounding this coin and the strong emotional market-driving interest. For collectors, owning a 1966 halfpenny is not just about potential value, but about preservation and presentation. Keeping the coin in a dry, stable environment helps protect its faded surface from further wear. Avoiding aggressive cleaning is essential, as collectors prize natural aging over artificial shine. Documenting provenance, even if it's a simple family history or location where the coin was found, can also add to its appeal. Many seasoned collectors believe that coins like this will continue to rise in popularity as younger generations rediscover pre-decimal British currency. As we look to the future, the 1966 UK halfpenny stands as a quiet but powerful reminder that value isn't always loud or obvious. Even in faded condition, this coin carries weight, history, and growing collector demand. What was once an everyday object has now become a symbol of a vanished monetary system and a treasured collectible. With increasing interest, speculative high values, and a limited surviving supply, the humble 1966 halfpenny continues to surprise, proving that sometimes the most worn coins have the strongest stories to tell and the brightest future in the collector market. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing World Numismatic Finds and rare UK coin discoveries.